All right, guys, welcome to our Special Needs Trust Planning Season 3, Series 3 event. We have our special guests today. I'm going to have everybody introduce themselves and then we're going to get started. So again, I'm Leslie Sultan. I'm an estate planning attorney with San Martino and Sultan Law Group in Long Island, and I'm happy to be hosting this seminar today. Jacqueline, if you'd like to go next.
Sure. So I'm Jackie Scally. I'm with the Family Community Engagement Center, which is a grant funded through the Office of Special Education, part of the Educational Partnership Center. So thank you for having me tonight.
Hi everyone. I'm Jillian Kashuba. I'm in my car right now because my daughter is at a riding lesson, so forgive my attire. But I am a financial advisor at Forest Hills Financial Group. I work with Letty Blanco. I'll let her do her introduction. But we help families with, children and really help them with financial planning around, everything from insurance, investments, retirement planning, college savings, and specifically in the special needs space. So thank you for coming.
Yes, thank you for being here and showing up. Letty Blanco worked with Jill and same thing. So we'll keep it nice and short.
All right. All right. So I'm just going to share a little bit about who I am, what I do, what the grant is that I work for, and what services we offer to families who have students with children rather with disabilities or children who have an IEP. So as I said, I'm part of the Family and Community Engagement Center, which is a grant funded through the Office of Special Education, which is currently held by Long Island University. So hence the giant title. I apologize, it's very wordy, but now you understand all the pieces. So Long Island University holds the grant, which is funded by the Office of Special Education. And ultimately, the goal of what we do is to improve outcomes for students with disabilities post-secondary. So no matter how old your child is, even if your kiddo is just 3 years old and maybe just be getting evaluated, possibly for services, we're always thinking like the long-term game, what's going to happen to our kids once they graduate high school, that post-secondary success, right? We want to set them up for success as early as possible. So this is the team. This is the Family and Community Engagement Center, or also known as the FACE Center. So you have me, Jackie Scally. I no longer have very short, very blonde hair. I need to update that photo. But my colleagues are Jenny Anderson, Randy Young, and Dawn Yablonsky. Dawn and I are the resource and referral specialists. So all the information I share tonight, when you reach out to us, or if you reach out to ask a question, information about special education, information about your child's IEP, or so on, you would most likely be speaking to myself or Dawn would help you with that. And then we are part of a second group, a grant, which is the Regional Partnership Center. So we have access to many colleagues who specialize in different parts of special education. So we have transition specialists, culturally responsive educators, behavior specialists, literacy specialists, specially designed instructors. So lots of good information and resources that we can tap into to help you navigate the special education system. Because we know, or if our family member that is on might already know, that it's not always so easy, especially if you're not in the business of education. Learning all of the pieces can be a little overwhelming at times, or many times, depending on where you are. So here's just some of the information about what we do, and I'm going to go through each of those. So we offer workshops for families and professionals. So we do trainings for school districts, for teachers, therapists, related service providers, and then we also offer technical assistance, which is literally you call us, you reach out with an email, you have a question, and we are happy to help answer that question for you. Anything related to special education or even resources throughout Long Island. And just again helping you navigate that process. We are not advocates, so the one piece that I really like to make clear to everyone is we are not coming to the IEP meetings with you, but we can help you to understand what might happen in an IEP meeting, questions that you can come with, any information needed to help you better navigate that system for your child, and even how to help your child represent themselves at those meetings. Okay, so some of the workshops that we offer, this is just for the summer, and then you'll see we have workshops in English. We also offer some in Spanish. So coming up, we have one left for our summer series. So on the left, you'll see that blue uh, flyer with the cute little flip-flops in it, right? Looking all summery. We have coming up student involvement in the individualized education program for families. So this, while it's being offered on August 5th, it is also offered in the fall. It will be offered again in the winter. It'll be offered again in the spring. This is one that we constantly offer every season because it's an important one that families, it really gives good information about IEPs, and it goes through every section of the IEP to help you understand that. Uh, if you have a child that's preschool age, then we also have one of a similar workshop for preschool students with disabilities. So going through the IEP for preschool age students. But so coming up, we have that. Everything on here is clickable, so you'll have access to the PDF. You can click on the registration. All of our workshops are at no cost to you. So if you register and you can join, fabulous. If you register and you can't join, unfortunately, we don't record our workshops. We're not able to, but you'll be connected with us. So always, if you think you can make something, we'd rather you register and try to make it. On the right side, you'll see the family series that is happening beginning in September and throughout the year. And these are some of the workshops that are offered in Spanish. So if you work with families who are Spanish speaking, please share this information with them. We have what's an IEP for preschool age students. We have explicit vocabulary instruction for families or for parents rather, how to help your child with explicit vocabulary. What's an IEP for school age, just like we do in English. EI, that transition from EI to CPSE, what that looks like. And then again, then we also have coming up in the fall, CPSE to kindergarten, right? So when our kids are transitioning from that. These are also offered in English, but just so you can see the types of workshops that we offer to families. All of these workshops are geared towards families, so I promise they are in family-friendly language. And we explain that special education jargon that can be lots of acronyms and confusing, frankly. You also have access, so that was just like a sample of what workshops we offer. I had showed that page that had all the different specialists. All of those specialists offer workshops regarding their own topics, right? So we have workshops that are specific to literacy, workshops that are specific to behavior, that are specific to transition. When we speak about transition, we're talking about that transition from early intervention to preschool special education, or that transition from preschool special education to school age special education. And really, a heavy focus for transition age is that transition from life after high school, right? So that 13, 14, we're making that plan for what life after high school is going to look like, whether that is getting a career, whether that's having supported job positions, maybe supported living and setting up that. So we have workshops geared towards that. So you can see all of our workshops are really for students starting at the preschool age or birth all the way through 21 or the day before you turn 22. So you have access to our full workshop catalog, which we could take a peek at in a little bit. So something else I had said, we also offer technical assistance, right? So how do we answer those questions if you just have a random question about your child's IEP or something was said at the meeting or you have a meeting coming up and you're not sure what to expect? It's going to be your first CPSE or CSE meeting. We're happy to kind of help you understand who might be there and what's happening. So we offer something called, you can always reach out to us via email or a phone call, but we also offer something called our community cafe, which rotates between like a lunchtime session or an evening session. And you can just come on, it's our open Zoom office hour, and you can literally ask any question. And it's just nice to, instead of just emailing a random person that you never met before, now you get to speak to someone face to face. So we have family members, we have organizations come on, ask questions. It really can be anything about, again, your child's IEP, or sometimes we have families that come on and ask about social skills classes or what's available on Long Island, or my child's really interested in playing baseball, but I'm not sure that they are able to. What's available out there for them? So we're happy to just connect you to resources throughout Long Island for you. And that you can see kind of rotates. Like September, we're going to do a 12 to 1, but then October, it's 6 to 7 to try to accommodate our busy families, right? We know it's not easy hopping onto these meetings, but we're happy to help you. Another resource that I love and I work on, and myself and my colleague Dawn work on, is maintaining this community resource map. So this is a website. I know there's a lot of words on this page. Everything's in English and Spanish to make it clear for everyone. But this is a website that lists agencies throughout Long Island, well, really New York State, but we focus on the Long Island region, offers a service to students with disabilities and or their families, and it is very specific to that, right? So it's ages birth through 22. It covers respite agencies that offer respite care, agencies that offer recreational. Forest Hills Financial is on there, right? So anything that offers a service to students with disabilities and their families will be listed on there. It is not exhaustive, so we are constantly adding to this. If you're on there and you see a resource or you find an agency that you think needs to be on there, share it with us. We're happy to add it. We're constantly learning about new organizations, new businesses that offer a service, and we're happy to update. But this is a really good resource for you, and it's in, I believe it's 12 different languages. So when you click on this, it'll be offered in, it'll pop up in English, but everything is translated in Spanish, Mandarin, it's all different language, Hebrew, I believe. So lots of different, it's very accessible. The best way to stay in contact with us and to kind of know, right? It's a little overwhelming. We got the community resource map, we have workshops, we have the cafe. Like, how are you going to remember all of this? You don't want to have to shuffle through all your emails to find the information I just shared with you. So this is a great way to stay in contact with us. It's our Tips and Topics Tuesdays. It's our email list. It goes out every Tuesday around 10 a.m. You'll get an email updating you on or reminding you about upcoming workshops. So it'll be workshops that are coming up that week, workshops that are coming up the following week, and then there's always links to our community cafe hours, to our family workshops, to our workshops that are in Spanish. So you always will have access to those. So if you lose our number, you lose our email, don't worry, we'll bother you every Tuesday and we'll remind you of what's coming up. So it's just a nice way to keep in contact. I always say information is good when you need it, right? So you might get information from us and say, well, this sounds like something that I should know more about, but I'm not ready for that yet. You know, my child's only 3 years old. I don't need to worry about transitioning out of life after high school yet. But believe it or not, it'll be there before you know it. And then when you come back in a few years and say, oh, I wish I had that information, you know, you'll always be connected to us through this email. So it's a nice way to just stay connected. So when information does become applicable to your life, or you want to learn more, or you want to reach out, you have an easy way to connect with us. All right, so the next few slides are really like this is the other piece of what we do, that technical assistance. So when we're answering questions, we don't make up answers for you. We don't just tell you what you want to hear. We tell you like the regulation, New York State regulation, Office of Special Education. That's really where our information comes from, right? So we're not just making up things, we're telling you what it is. So on here, this slide, there's just some really good links that are, for different ages and stages of life. So Center for Disease Control, when we're talking about early intervention, what are the milestones? So you have access to those. There's something called the Center for Parent Information and Resources. That's a federally funded website. Again, all the information on there is approved. So if you're looking for information about special education, information about least restrictive environment, all of that can be found on there. So you can go through these links. I'm not going to go through every single one, but if you just need a little more information about what's an IEP or working with your child's teacher, least restrictive environment. If you're not familiar with that term, that's something you might hear frequently in CPSE, preschool special education and school age special education meetings, and just learning a little bit more about that. One link that I would really like to highlight, which has just been updated recently by the Office of Special Education, New York State Education Department, is the Parent Guide to Special Education. This really, let me just hop over to that. That really will walk through. Let's see. Can you see it? Yeah. So when you click on that link, it'll bring you here. This really walks through all stages of the special education process. So when you scroll down, you'll see the PDF of it. It is currently offered in English and in Spanish, but I know that the state is working to uh, translate it into more languages. So this was just recently updated in 2025, and it's so nice. It's really, again, family parents guide. It's in family friendly language. It is specifically made for families, and it goes through all the steps of the special education process. So I'm sorry to make you dizzy for a minute, but here you have the table of contents. So you can see it takes you from referral, right? So we're just starting the process. What is that going to look like? What's the evaluation going to look like? Here, let's hop down to referral. It even provides for you what is a referral, who can make it, and then even gives you a sample letter. All right. So all of this, I love this guide because you know that the information that is coming from it is correct, right? We like to, don't get me wrong, I have a child with a disability. I go on Facebook to try to learn and get some ideas. How can I help him? He has some medical needs. I need some good ideas from other family members. From other people who are living that life. So it's like social media could be a really amazing resource for us, but then sometimes there's also a lot of misinformation. So this is a great document, family friendly language. You're going to get the correct information from here. We even reference, if I get a question from a family member, I'll come here to reference to share that information for you too, right? It's a lot for a parent to go through. So if I can find it for you and show it to you, it makes everyone's life a little easier. All right, so it goes through referral, samples, parent referral letter, right? You want to request that your child needs to be referred to special education. And then it goes through how do schools find children who need special education? What does this look like for a preschool child? What does it look like for a school-age child? And so on and so forth. It also shares with you, this might be a little, it's definitely not new to school districts. This language of multi-tiered system of support, or MTSSI, but it might be a little newer to families. So when your child needs services, not every child is it's going to qualify for special education services, but every school and every district should have some kind of multi-tiered systems of support set up to help students to achieve their academic goals, right? Social and academic goals. And this goes through and explains that process. So if your child does not qualify for special education services, this is a good place to kind of take the committee back to and say, all right, so what is being offered? Even though, not every child needs an IEP for sure. Students might struggle, but that doesn't mean that they have a disability. And so what are we doing for our children who kind of fall under that umbrella? Then it goes through initial evaluation. I'm sorry, I'm making you a little dizzy, but I just want to show you it. It tells you exactly what are the components. I actually just spoke to a parent recently and they said they didn't realize how much testing went into an initial evaluation. So it would have been nice if they were able to see something like this and know exactly what pieces needed that were going to be touched upon in that evaluation. Let me just see if I go back to the top. It's not going to let me. So one more thing I wanted to highlight. All right, let's see. Eligibility determination. Oh, committee membership. Here we go. This is another nice chart that they offer in here, that they have set up for you in here. So when we talk about who should be at the meetings, a lot of times you don't even know who to expect, right? There might be 2 people at the meeting, there might be 10 people at the meeting. This is a nice chart that explains who should be at a CSE, which is the school age, right? Committee on Special Education for school age, and who should be at a CPSE, which is that Committee of Preschool Special Education. And you can see who is required to be there, who might be requested, but not necessarily required to be there. And that might look a little different for CPSE versus CSE, or that school age versus the preschool. But it's nice just to know who's even going to be in the room before you even step into that meeting. So I love this document. It's a little lengthy, very easy to navigate. So I'm just going to do it this way because it's a little easier for me. You have the ability to hop down to whatever section you want to continue reading more about. There's also if you, let me just see, rights for parents. This is another one that we get asked frequently. What's your rights as a parent if you don't agree with the committee? And it kind of goes through a little more in depth of your due process rights. That prior written notice, informal discussions. It gives information about special education quality assurance, so CEQA, if there's, or mediation. And New York State now has something called CEDRIC, the Special Education Dispute Resolution Center. So they can answer all those questions if you're having concerns about what, if you can't come to common ground during a meeting, you can reach out to Cedric and they're happy to help kind of navigate that process with you or let you know what your rights are as a parent. So you can see it's not, the state has created this document and it's really well thought out and provides a lot of good information for you. So this is just a really good resource for all families at any age and stage of the special education process. All right, so I'm going to pause here for a minute because I don't want to lose everyone. But does anyone have any questions about um, anything that I just shared? I know I'm talking at you a lot.
Towards the end, will you give us your contact information or
Yeah, so you'll get a PDF of the all of the slides that I'm sharing right now. And then I can also, I'll even put my email in the chat as well so that you have that. So those beginning slides with our faces have all of our email information on that. So you're more than welcome to reach out at any time with questions.
okay?
Um, right. Sorry, did you have another question?
No, that was the kids. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I'm happy you're able to join. Okay. All right, so I mean, we can keep going through the parent guide, but I just want to show there's a few more slides with some links on here for you. These are continue like that CPSC, CSE process. Again, these aren't secret links. This is open to the public. This is the kind of information when you call us, these are the documents that we kind of refer to. The IEP with school age descriptions and the IEP with preschool descriptions is really awesome. It goes through, it is an IEP. So if your child has an IEP, it is the IEP, and then it explains every section of the IEP so that you can better understand each page. If you have an IEP, you know that it's many pages long. So it explains each section, but then it also explains how you as a parent and how your child can have input into those sections. So especially when we talk about that first section of the IEP, the present levels of performance, that's where we really want to know those can-dos, the areas of needs, what has worked, what hasn't worked for your child. And that's really good information as a family member that you should provide at those meetings, right? So sometimes we don't even know what to share at these meetings. So this is a good way to start thinking about, okay, well, how can I support this meeting? Or how can even my child, even if your child's in kindergarten, what way, how can they convey what is important to them at that age? Or if your child's getting ready to attend their own IEP meeting, at the age of 13, 14, 15, how can they do that effectively? The links are in English, so anything that has the same link. So this is it in English, this is it in Spanish, and so on. I know it's visually probably a lot to handle, but just so you know how that's broken down. So these two are the same and just in the different languages. And I'm going to highlight a few because I know it's a little overwhelming, but you'll have access to these after. If you have want more information about academic and behavior resources, the Backpack Connection series is awesome. These are like tips and tricks of how to help your child with different things. So it might be behavior related, it might be reading related, just things that you can do at home naturally that might not feel like you're singling out your child for a lesson. It's kind of like those teachable moments, how to really help your child at home and follow through with things that might be going on in the school. Accommodations, adaptations, when we talk about that, making that specially designed instruction for your children in the classroom. So get more information about those. Let's see, the Family Guide to At-Home Learning, again, making those connections between home and school. So to have that continued and that continuity and create success for your child when they have that continuity. And then that positive solutions for families, that's actually a workshop that we offer. Um, that focuses on behavior. So a lot of times we talk about behavior in school and how to manage it at school, but sometimes that when not sometimes, always, when you have again that continuity of behavior management, the process at home is similar to that of school, where there's that crossover and there's that continuity. Positive Solutions for Families is a really great workshop, and you can get more information at that link about how to help your child with their behavior at home, right? Positive ways to do that and what some solutions are for that. And then I know I had mentioned a few times having your child participate in their IEP meeting. We talk about that, like that self-determination. What do they see for themselves? What are their likes? What are their needs? Uh, it's kind of like a mindset shift. That's not typically something that we think about, right? We have these meetings for our children, but instead of doing it to them, we should be doing it with them. Even if it's at a young age, it might look a little different. Maybe they can have some input in a different, it will look different at the kindergarten age rather than 15, right? But all students will be invited to their IEP meeting during that transition age, which is like 14, when they're turning 15. They'll be invited to their IEP meeting. Of course, they don't have to attend their IEP meeting, but they will be invited. So some tips and tricks and a toolbox to help them participate in their IEP meeting is that toolbox for self-determination. The resources on here are fabulous for ways of getting your child to participate in their IEP meeting. Some school districts are already using this in the classroom to help students prepare for their own IEP meeting so that they can even do like PowerPoint presentations, like a quick little PowerPoint presentation at their IEP meeting. So if you're interested in that, I highly recommend going to that website. The All About Me, this is for our younger kiddos. It's kind of like the who am I? What do I like? Who's in my family? What helps me to have a good day? And just to get their perspective on their own life, right? What's important to them. And even though that it might not see the connection to see how that's connected to their individualized education program or their IEP, when students are able to voice their own needs, that can be incorporated, right? That's how we build their goals, right? If something's really important to them, let's use that as whether it's a reward, whether it's part of their goals. If they know that they're really good in, they feel strong with their reading, then let's use that to our advantage when we're trying to help them navigate areas that they might struggle with or might need a little more help. Okay, then we also have links. The diploma requirements are currently being updated through New York State, so those will probably change. So if there's a link here that is not, you click on it and it's not working or it's broken, please reach out to us and we're happy to lead you to the right link because those might be changing as time goes on. And then you can see we also have like these are in Spanish, right? So this is the English side, and then these are all the same ones in Spanish, like the All About Me in English, but then you have Todo Sobre Me in Spanish. So you have that available to you. All right, so I know that was a little quick. So here is if you email this, they will lead you to the person that can help you. So post-cci@liu.edu, and then that phone number. Someone will get back to you, whether it's myself or Dawn or another team member. But you can always reach out to us asking questions. It could be, again, about specific to your child. It could be specific to resources throughout Long Island, recreational activities, services, anything that we can help connect you with. And then, or even if you want to sign up for a workshop and you're not sure when the workshop is being held, just email and we're happy to help you out. All right, so I'll pause it there again. I know that was a little quick, but if anyone has any questions, you have our contact information. I'll put my email in the chat. I know that was a lot of information in a short time.
Thank you, Jackie.
I know, how can you not? So there's so much out there.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot. That's why the door is always open. So please, even if you look through those resources on your own, it might just open the door for more questions of, okay, I thought I understood this, but I'm not quite understanding it. We're happy to kind of like help you navigate that. So I just put my email in the chat.
Great, we see it. And just, I don't know, in case anybody's watching the recording only, if you want to just say it out loud in case they want to.
Oh, sure. Yes. So it's jacqueline.scally@liu.edu. So JACQUELINE .scally, SCALI, like Long Island University.edu.
Great, thanks. All right, I'm going to
Yeah.
stop the recording and then we'll open it up for additional questions. And thank you so much for that informational presentation, Jackie.
Thank you.